Hello, my name is Teresa. Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about how to handle travel anxiety. I took myself off on a solo trip around the world, which finished in July this year, 2024. A 12-month trip. I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never really traveled on my own before. I was really anxious about going, and I, for some people, they don't have that anxiety, but for me, that's been part of my menopause journey as well, is learning to live with anxiety about things, but also moving forward through that anxiety. And to do that, particularly use yoga practices, meditation practices, breathwork practices. I'm a yoga meditation teacher. And today I'll be sharing a few breath practices that I found very helpful for me for managing my anxieties around travel. But before we move into that, I just want to say it's very normal to have those anxieties, particularly if you're a woman, particularly if you haven't traveled that much on your own before. And I think, the media presents the world as a very scary place. And I'm not saying that you don't need to take precautions, because I think actually that's very sensible. I'm going to do another video about safety. I mean, there's lots of information online and on other YouTube channels around safety. My perspective and from my channel is less on the practical, but more on the emotional well-being while you're traveling. One of those things is, how do you handle that anxiety? Every time I left somewhere, so I get very settled. I probably am a bit autistic, certainly have a few autistic traits, not diagnosed. And so for me, like, I get settled. So I'd be somewhere, even if it was just a few weeks, even if it was just 4 or 5 days, I'd be sort of feel a bit more relaxed. I know where the ATM is, I know where to get food, I know where the laundry is. And then suddenly I'm somewhere new, new country, potentially new language. I have no idea how anything works, and it's starting again. And those transitions for me are really difficult. And I think one of the first things to say is to acknowledge that and say that it's okay, that that's part of the journey, that we don't have to all be super confident. I've met some amazing women travelers on my journey who seem to exude confidence around taking overnight buses through India and trains and all of that. And that for me doesn't feel very natural or particularly safe. So I think you've got to work within your comfort zone of what you feel is a safe way to travel. That's the first thing. And then I think being prepared for me helped me a little bit with the anxiety. I am a bit uber prepared person anyway. And so I would have printouts of things, knowing also that things like arriving in a new city, my data might not work. I'd get an eSIM, but maybe it wouldn't work. So I would like take a screenshot of where I'm staying. I'd maybe even, if it was a brand new country, I'd maybe even write a few key like phrases in the country's language in my note. I'm an old-fashioned girl. I carry a notebook and a pen around with me. And actually sometimes that's been quite helpful, not relying on a phone. You get to immigration and you need to provide usually the name of where you're staying, dates, flights, all of that. So having printouts or having it in your notebook actually just helps you feel a bit more prepared, a bit more organized. I'm not someone necessarily that wings it at the airport and just jumps in a cab either. For me, that doesn't feel the safest option. I know many women are very comfortable with that, but that's not my story or how I want to travel. So I would usually organize a cab through hotel. I'm not going to go into too much more detail on the practical stuff. I will do another video on this, but today is about how the hell do you settle the nerves? How the hell do you calm the nervous system when you're thinking about all the things that could potentially go wrong? And that is what anxiety is. It's that worry of the future. In the Indian philosophy of Ayurveda, which is the science of life, it's this too much air and ether in our heads, too much space. So we need to ground, we need to earth, we need to just come back to the present moment and realize that actually 99% of the things that we're worrying about are things that are never going to happen. And the things that happen that you haven't prepared yourself for, you'd be surprised. You can manage it. Honestly, trust me. I didn't think I could, and I did. So today, let's just do two practices just to remind ourselves that we can find this sense of calmness, stability, but also acknowledging that it's okay to feel anxious. It's really normal to feel anxious. We don't have to always be uber confident, but we can also travel with anxiety. We can still live our dream and do the things that we want to do. And I think before the breath practice, just take a moment here to think about why you're doing your trip, whether it's a big trip like mine, a 12-month trip, or 6 months, or 3 months, or maybe it's a really short time. But think about what and why you're going on your trip. So, two breath practices that can really help with anxiety. First one is called box breath, and this is a breath where we use the count of 4 and we hold the breath in between the inhales and the exhales. And the second practice is one of my personal favorites, actually, for just kind of calming the nervous system, resettling the brain. This is called alternate nostril breathing. And we're just going to take 5 minutes out to do both of these practices. So if you're driving, obviously you'll need to do this another time. I'll timestamp so that you can find this practice. Or if it's obviously if you're doing something else at the same time, you need to be here. You need to be fully present. So my channel is all about being mindful. So I'd invite you to find somewhere where you can be still, where you can be quiet. You can be sitting in a chair, sitting on the edge of the bed, but just try and sit as upright as you can for the practices. And then if you're comfortable too, you can close the eyes and just for a moment, just feel grounded through the feet. Just take a moment to feel fully present. This moment in time, with that sense and understanding that everything that has gone before has gone before. It doesn't matter. And everything to come, and this is where the anxiety lies, is this future planning, future thinking. But for now, it doesn't matter. Come back to the present moment. Come back to the breath in the nostrils. Feel the inhale through the nostrils and the exhale through the nostrils. And we're going to do a slight control of the breath by doing the box breath. So I'm going to count you through the first few rounds and then leave you to practice on your own. This is a 4-part breath. We inhale for 4 beats. We hold for 4 beats. We exhale for 4 beats. We hold for 4 beats. If at any time these practices make you feel more anxious or causing any issues with your breathing, just come back to a normal breath. No problem. Let's take a big inhale and exhale to begin. And this time we will exhale out through the mouth just to release any last tension before we start the practice. Taking a big inhale together and an exhale. Actually, let's do that again. Take an inhale and an exhale. And then we'll begin. Take an inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Now continue using your own breath patterns. So that might be a bit slower than my counting, maybe it's a little bit faster than my counting. But see if you can keep the breath even so that the inhale is smooth. The holding feels smooth and you're not gasping for breath. The exhale is smooth and the holding is smooth after the exhale. Just notice what you notice. Stay focused on the breath. Any other thoughts come and pop into your mind, invite them just to come back later. You could even label them thinking, to give them a name, and then come back to the breath. And now allow yourself to release the counting. Come back to your normal breath pattern. Just take a moment to see how you feel. If you feel a little calmer, a little less anxious, just remembering this is a really great practice. You could do this anywhere. You could do this sitting on a plane. You could do this at check-in, if you get to an airport and it's busy and you need to just find somewhere, maybe a little corner that's quiet, you can sit and do this practice. Very quickly it starts to calm the nervous system down. Traveling can be a very intense experience, particularly for those of us that are sensitive. It's you're overstimulated, it's noisy, it can be difficult at times to navigate, particularly if you're in a foreign country. So we need to just counteract that. I mean, that comes with excitement and the joy of travel, but we need to also allow the nervous system to kind of rest and recover from that. And this is a great practice to do that. Our final practice today is alternate nostril breathing. And for this, we use a mudra. So we're going to bring the two middle fingers, second, third finger, and we're going to place them on the roof of the mouth, the mouth of the nose. We're going to close the right nostril with the thumb. We're going to take an inhale through the left nostril. We're going to close the left nostril with the fourth and fifth finger and exhale out through the right. So we alternate between the left and right side. I'll show you without the two fingers at the top so you can see. So again, readjust if you need to. If you found that you've slouched a little bit, just see if you can sit up nice and tall. We'll just do a few rounds of this. This is a really great practice for balancing the right and left sides of the brain, the masculine and feminine energy, the sun, the moon. I'm actually recording this on the new moon day, which feels very nice to do this practice. So finding your seat, we'll close the right nostril first, sit up nice and tall, take a big inhale through the left, close the left nostril, exhale out through the right. Inhale through the right, close the right nostril, exhale out through the left. Inhale through the left, close the left nostril, exhale out through the right. And I'm going to leave you in silence for a minute just to practice. Keep the breath smooth if you can. And maybe, if you can, allow a little pause at the top of the breath. So as the inhale reaches through the left nostril, there's a little pause before the exhale out through the right. And then the inhale through the right, a short pause, exhale out through the left. And start to bring the breath back into both nostrils. You can release the hand down to the knees. Maybe keep the eyes closed for a moment and just take a moment to check in to see how the practice felt in your body, in your mind, how you feel now as opposed to when you started the practice. And you can slowly open the eyes. And just remembering, again, it's another great practice to do. Um, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I've been known to go into public toilets and do this practice if it all gets too much. Um, these are immigration offices. Oh my God. Yes, that's a whole nother video. But yes, that's where these practices can be really, really helpful. And just keeping us grounded, keeping us feel calm. And if you can maintain that sense of calmness around you, regardless of chaos around you, that's such a skill. I'm still working on it myself. But I encourage you to try, do the best you can, keep coming back to these practices. They're beautiful practices to do first thing in the morning. I said I'll timestamp so you can come straight into these practices. And the more you practice, the more you find that you may be able to drop in, the more that the monkey mind, the thoughts will disperse and you can calm that anxiety. So I wish you well with your travels. Please do like, share, subscribe, all the things. Please leave me a comment below if you've got any comments or if you've got any top tips as well. Love to hear what you think would work for other people. We're all in this together, sharing together, and just encouraging more people to take the potentially bold action of traveling solo and exploring this incredible world that we have. Try not to let fear stop you from living your best life. That's been my journey really for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, is overcoming so many fears and so many anxieties. And every time I do that, just the most beautiful things happen to me. So I hope the same for you. I wish you well. And yeah, catch me on the next video. Be back up another video in a couple of weeks' time. Take care. Bye bye.